friends, and welcome to week 4 of Eastland County Today's Coaches Show. I'm Amy O'Brien Glenn, sitting with John Glenn as we fill in for Stephen Forrester as he's out of the state this week. Week 3's games are on the books, and what a weekend it was. The Indians gave the Lobos everything they could handle before Cisco scored the winning touchdown on a fumble recovery, winning 19-15 against Comanche. Robert Lee's big first half was too much for the Rising Star Wildcats, and the Gorman offense continues to shine in their homecoming game against the Katy Faith West. Brock's JV had their way with the Bulldogs, yet Josh Horn ran 9 for 96 yards with 1 touchdown. With the Lobos, Cecil Beasley had over 100 yards rushing, and Terry Carter made a game-saving fumble recovery. Now let's see what Coach West has to say about the Lobos.
Coach West was asked several questions. The first one was, give us your impression of how your team played last week. Offensively, we didn't execute our offense without penalties or turnovers. Comanche did a great job controlling the clock, therefore possessions were limited. Defensively, our defense did a great job stopping the big play, but struggled getting off the field on third downs. Special teams. Special teams were pretty average and didn't affect the game. When asked Coach West, this week is your bye or open week, give us an idea of the differences there will be this week compared to a regular week with a game on Friday. Practices will be shorter, but hopefully more intense with more off-season mixed in. Coaches prep. We have 2 weeks to work on holiday, but we must be careful with over-analyzing this opponent. We may not get what we have seen on video. Any extra work should have more time to work on the little things during this open week. And where will you be at on Friday evening? Not sure yet. I may go to the Breck game.
Thanks, Coach West. The Lobos have an open date this Friday, the district starting next week with a home game against Holiday at 7:30 p.m. The Eastland Mavericks are coming off an open week and have had some time to rest and recuperate. Let's see what Coach Watkins has to say about the downtime and this week's opponent, Breckenridge.
All right, Coach Watkins' response. We had a productive bye week. For the most part, we were able to get healed up. We were able to go back and concentrate on some little things, and we got a lot of quality reps. Breckenridge is a team that has improved every week. They are a physical run team. We will have to be very disciplined on defense and find a way to force some turnovers. Offensively, we must take care of the ball and control the line of scrimmage.
Thanks, Coach Watkins. The Mavericks will take on the Breckenridge Buckaroos this Friday evening in Breckenridge at 7:30 p.m. The historic season of the Gorman Panthers continued last week with their win to Katy Faith West with a Gorman homecoming win of 88-52. Flavio Herrera rushed for 124 yards, and Trent Finley caught passes for 153 yards. Let's see what Coach Williamson had to say.
Coach Williamson was asked about his impressions of how his team played last week. Offensively, we got off to a slow start, but we made some adjustments and we got it rolling. Offensively, we had 344 yards rushing, 195 yards passing. Flavio Herrera led the ground game with 5 carries for 124 yards. Trent Finley led the passing game with 5 of 7 for 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Sam Rainey led the receivers with 2 catches for 63 yards and 2 touchdowns. 5 different Panthers scored. Defensively, we also got off to a slow start, spotting Katy Faith 22 points in the first quarter to open up the game. The defense settled in after the first quarter, surrendering 32 more points the next 3 quarters. Katy Faith West had a high-powered offense that was tough to shut down, but the defense caused 4 turnovers, 3 fumbles, and 1 interception. Freddie Montelongo led the defense with 11 tackles and a fumble recovery. Trent Finley had 9 tackles, caused a fumble, recovered a fumble, and had an interception. Omar Velasquez recorded 10 tackles and recovered a fumble. Special teams played an important role with the covering of 2 onside kicks at key moments during the game to shift the momentum in our favor. We were 8 of 12 on extra point kicks. Asked how will your opponent challenge your team this Friday? Offensively, Stephenville Faith is a spread team that has a great quarterback with a strong arm. The receivers do a great job finding the open spaces on the field, and they also have a great hands. Defensively, they fly to the football and they tackle well. This game will be another great test for us, and we plan on having another tough game against a great team. It was homecoming, and any thoughts about how the community came out to support the Panthers? The stands were packed and the fence around the field was crowded. There was a great atmosphere for the homecoming game.
Thanks, Coach Williamson. The Panthers will take on Stephenville Faith this Friday in Bluffdale at 7:30 p.m. The Ranger Bulldogs fell to the Brock Eagle Junior Varsity team last Thursday by the score of 46-14. Josh Horn ran 9 for 96 yards with 1 touchdown. Let's see what the Ranger Coach Ramsey, had to say.
Coach Ramsey was asked to give some impressions on how his team played last week. Offensively, had some really big plays but stalled when we needed to keep drives alive. Defensively, played better this week but gave up 4 to 5 big plays that were costly. Special teams, by far our least productive game on special teams. This needs to change. Asked how will your next opponent challenge your team this Friday. Offensively, they have a very good quarterback that likes to run the football. Defensively, they have only given up about 30 points all season. They are playing very well. And any other tangibles this week's game interesting. I hope we are healthy and have everyone this week.
Thanks, Coach Ramsey. The Ranger Bulldogs will take on the Iron County Hornets this Friday evening in Iron County at 7:30 p.m. Our final stop is in Rising Star, where the Wildcats lost their contest Friday evening by the score of 48-38 to Robert Lee. Ben Boucher and Zach Childers both threw for over 300 yards combined. Tommy Gann caught passes for 167 yards, and Crispin Flores caught for 165 yards. Let's see what Coach Callaway had to say.
Coach Callaway was asked a few questions. The first one was, give us your impressions on how your team played last week. Offensively, I felt we did some really good things on Friday. We came out and scored first possession, which is always a good thing. After the first possession, we missed a few opportunities for big plays. We had a couple of open receivers we missed, but that is always a risk when you put the ball in the air. We did have some empty possessions, but for the most part, we executed well. Defensively, I felt our team did really well on defense. Robert Lee has a pretty complex system in place, along with their no huddle, makes things difficult at times. We gave up 2 big plays, but for the most part, they had to earn every score they got. We also had 2 interceptions and forced them to go 4 and out a few times. I was really proud of their effort we showed on defense. We also did a better job of tackling this week. Special teams, we gave up 1 kickoff for a touchdown, but we did a great job of recovering their onside kicks all night. We worked very hard on this because of how common it is in 6-man football. The next question was, how will your next opponent challenge your team this Friday? Offensively, it will come down to blocking and executing the plays. I think we have done some things that can hurt Gordon this week, but we have to keep a consistent mindset. We may put in a few tweaks to some things we do to try and create a little confusion for them, but all in all, we should be able to move the ball and score some points. Defensively, we just have to continue to be more physical. We have to own the point of attack. They have a pretty good running game, and they are big, so it will come down to physical play at the point of attack. We will spend a lot of time this week dedicated to physical play at the line of scrimmage. If we can accomplish this, I think we will be able to get some stops. And any other tangibles that will make this weekend interesting. Coach Callaway said, we just need to keep a positive mindset. We played a pretty good game last week against Robert Lee, and I want us to continue to get better. We may have not won the game, but we played well. I want to see the same thing from us this week. We need to go out and compete and just do our best to play mistake-free football. If we can do this, I think we have a good opportunity to be successful this week.
Thanks, Coach Callaway. The Rising Star Wildcats will face off against the Gordon Longhorns in Rising Star at 7:30 Friday. In other county sports news, the Cisco College Wranglers lost to the Trinity Valley Cardinals in the Lions Club Benefit Bowl, 58-40. Richard Lagno threw for over 350 yards in the loss. Thanks for tuning in to Eastland County Today Coaches Show. I'm your host, Amy O'Brien Glenn, with John Glenn. For more sports news, log on to eastlandcountytoday.com or pick up a copy of Eastland County Today.